Hi, everybody, and welcome to Dad Domesticus. This is a fun little series, reoccurring episode that we're going to be calling Whining About. And let's just, whining about. Thank you. Yay. This is my lovely wife, Kelly.
Hello.
So excited to have you here.
Glad to be here.
I think this is going to be kind of our moment in the Dad Domesticus YouTube podcast. It was really hard to say podcast. And vlog series, all that other good jazz. Yeah. So first inaugural episode. We're going to do just a couple things real quick. I want to introduce ourselves. If this is your first time listening, watching, thank you very much. I really appreciate you. We're going to talk about us, how we met, a little bit of story of us. I guess it's
so cute.
It's a cute one.
It's pretty cute.
It's a pretty cute story. And then get into our topic about whining about staying at home or being at home so much.
Yes.
Especially right now.
Right now, yeah.
So my love, start us off.
Yeah, so I'm Kelly. Been married to this handsome fellow for about 8 years now. A little more than. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
We're at that point where we don't know how long we've been married.
2013. 7 years.
Okay. I was rounding up.
Rounding up.
Born in California, raised in kind of a smallish city in rural West Texas. Came back to California for school, a university where I met this dude, although we did not date then, but we'll get to that later. Spent my early career there, our 20s, and then we moved to Texas about 5 years ago. So I'm kind of a career-oriented person. That's a lot of what I think about. But obviously, family's very important to us, our kiddos. We have a great network of friends, both here and really all the places where we've kind of meandered. Yeah. And pretty invested in our faith community as well. So that's really me in a nutshell.
Yeah. So my name is Alan. I am the dad behind Dad Domesticus. I'm burping because this is take 2, and we've already gone through a little bit of wine because apparently there's a 22-minute limit on our recording on our phone. So I am a Southern California kid through and through, born and raised there. I went to Pepperdine University. We have one picture of us on like opposite sides at the beach with a bunch of friends.
Big old group, about 15 college kids. And exact opposite sides of the picture.
Yeah. And we knew each other in college, but it was like similar circles of friends. It was like a Venn diagram of friends.
Yeah. We like had a little bit in the middle. Yeah.
A little bit in the middle. So went from college to China as an English teacher and missionary, came back from that. Pepperdine has this yearly event called the Pepperdine Lectureships, now called Harbor, I think it's called, right?
Yes.
Something like that.
And it's lectures, not lectures.
Lectures, okay. You worked at the alumni office, so yes. So I was in the rafters at the gym, and I saw her on the floor with a bunch of people, like on the floor of the gym with a bunch of people talking. And I said, Kelly looks hot and I should probably talk to her. And I had never done anything like that in my life. And so I walked up and started a conversation with you. 3 months later, we went on our first date. And then 4 years later, almost to the day, we were engaged.
Made you work for it. Yeah.
I mean, I was ready like at 6 months, and that's for another time.
Another whining about.
So now we were in California. Now we're in Texas. Again, been here about 5 years. We live near the Fort Worth area. We really love Fort Worth. It's kind of where we found our home. And now we are doing this, the Dad Domesticus. And I do say this, even though I do say we, even though I'm kind of the face of it and I'm kind of the one leading the way and being the front man, this would not be possible if my wife was not so enthusiastic and encouraging about me pursuing this. And so just to let you know, the Dad Domesticus podcast and vlog, just this whole Dad Domesticus adventure is about me chronicling my journeys into the stay-at-home dad life. This is very new to me. We've been doing this about a month and a half now.
Yep.
And so this very first episode of Whining About is going to be whining about being at home.
Yeah.
Because not only have we been at home for the last month and a half because, I've been a stay-at-home dad. That's a very new thing for us. But we're still in the midst of COVID. And being at home is kind of the thing to do right now.
Very stuck here.
So let's get into our whole whining about being at home. And let's take a step back because before I was a stay-at-home dad, I was working at American Airlines. I loved the company. I loved the perks so much. But I saw the writing on the wall with my position. Now, I do have to say this. About 2 months, almost 3 months before I quit my job, I was working at home part of the week. And so we had about almost 2 months, was it?
Yeah, about.
Where I was working at home 2 to 3 days out of the week. And then the kids were home with you the other time.
Yeah.
And so you had not only, we had times where both of us were working at home, but times where you had both kids all to yourself. And that was insane.
A little interesting. Took conference calls with a baby on my lap. I mean, everyone has a story like that, but
yeah,
it was.
But that's
was
insane.
a time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for anybody doing that.
Yeah.
Us we rearranged our entire. I mean, it was a rearranging of our entire lives, but also a rearranging of like our entire house.
Yeah,
how we move things around.
Made our dining room a desk island in the middle of a play area that was surrounded by couches so that the 1-year-old couldn't get loose.
It was insane.
It was awesome.
If I can find a picture, I will post it up. And so I saw the writing on the wall for my position, and me being at stay-at-home dad was something that we had kind of had in conversation. Kind of in the back of our head, but it wasn't anything that I will say was at the forefront of any conversation.
No, it was always just
something we could do.
It was always a possibility, and one of the ways it could all go, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when it was like, hey, I think I'm going to lose my position if I don't take this out, what do we do? And that's when the idea of me becoming a stay-at-home dad came about. Or what would the reality of me being a stay-at-home dad look like for us? And then, what would I do as a stay-at-home dad? And the idea of the Dad Domesticus, vlog podcast came about. I have another podcast called I Know Nothing About Beer, and a full other channel on Instagram and all of those things called Al the Brewer. And that I've been doing for the last couple of years, but that's fun. That's like a side amount of like, oh, hey, I'm going to talk to people about beer. And I mean, if you want to talk about beer, send me a message. I can't wait. But this was going to be something way different, way more involved for both of our lives and our families' lives. Speaking of our family, we haven't even talked about our kids.
Oh, our kids.
Yes.
That thing.
Yeah. The whole other part about being a dad.
It's a pretty crucial part to the title. So.
Yes. So we have our oldest is Charlotte. She's 4. And our youngest is Maddie. She is 1. Charlotte is the sweetest little thing you will ever see. She has these ginormous, big, brown cow eyes. And she definitely knows how to say, Daddy, please.
Yeah. She's just a sweetheart. And as a typical firstborn, wants to please her parents. So
yes.
She makes it really easy on us, which is great.
Well, and I'm not complaining about that at all.
No, not complaining.
Maddie has a will.
She is a fiery one.
And her eyes, I have taken
So Maddie's
away
1-year-old.
1-year-old, yes. And I've, at dinner time, because she will stuff her mouth so full with food, I will take the plate away and say, you need to chew. And she looks at me with these eyes that are like, I will cut you.
She's got will.
Yeah. Yeah. She has fire, and I love it.
I am so excited to see what she becomes. I also think we're going to have some interesting times raising her, but if we do it right, I think we're going to release a force onto this world.
I love it. Yeah.
I'm good with it.
Yeah. So those are our 2 kids. And when we decided, hey, it's time to make a change and, go down this path of becoming a stay-at-home family, you work from home already and have been for the last couple of years. So there was not a real big change for that.
Yeah. My world hasn't actually changed
all
that much. Yeah.
Whereas for myself, I was going to be moving back into the world of, I felt like education because I'm a former educator. In a past life, I had my teacher credential and all that other fun stuff. And so having that, I went in the mindset of being an educator, and it was not a classroom, but my kids. And it's been a ride for a month and a half so far.
Yeah.
We've definitely had to adjust to a new schedule. I can honestly say I do not mind, how do I put it? Going, well, I'm not late to anything. When the alarm goes off.
When we sleep until 7, it's fine. Yeah.
Which is great, but at the same time, I feel so behind when I get up at 7.
Yeah, it's definitely not our schedule.
Not our schedule. We need the 5:45 schedule, and waking up at 7 does not help out anybody. No, yeah, but no. Let's talk about some of the adjustments that we've made in becoming a stay-at-home family. And I know a lot of people are in this situation because of COVID as well, where both parents are staying at home. But we're just kind of in an interesting situation since, like, you are the money winner in the family, and that's not as common as the guy being the money winner. It's becoming more common, but it's not as common. And I think that it's nothing that I've ever been ashamed about, or nothing that I ever thought was like I get to be a stay-at-home dad. Like, I've never looked at this as being like a negative thing.
It's something we were excited about. It wasn't because we felt we had no choice. It's because we felt this was the best choice for us at this time in our lives.
Yeah. And if a job comes along, that's awesome. In fact, I was in a job interview the other day, and they're asked, well, what are you doing? And I said, well, I've got the best job in the world. I'm a stay-at-home dad. Like, this is, I've got to really want to apply to a job because I'm loving what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's going to be a pretty high bar for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with that being said, there are some things about being at home all day. And I think COVID just kind of compounds this because there's so few things to do outside of the house anyways, even if I wanted to get out of the house. One of the things that I found I am missing is other people to talk with, other adults.
What? I'm not good enough for you?
You are so amazing. But you have no interest in my beer.
No, I really don't.
Even though that's like what is around so much. When I find my new cool tech thing I want to nerd out about, the blank stare happens.
I couldn't care less. I try. I listen, sort of.
I have been getting so much more. Now, granted, I dig me some Bluey, but I've found I want to watch more horror movies because they're so the anti-kid movie. Yeah. Yeah, that has definitely been happening. Yeah. What about you?
So I'm very introverted, and I really loved that the house was really mine. I would drop the girls off at daycare around 7:45, 8, and then I really wouldn't see anyone. They would usually come in around 4:30 or so, and pop out of my office around 5. And so I loved that I had my lunch hours to myself, I had my breaks to myself. Mm-hmm. I could really work anywhere in the house I wanted to. So I really wasn't in my office all that much, to be honest. So it has been really interesting to transition. And it's in some ways been really nice because I can just pop out of my office and get a hug from my children. And Alan brings snacks to me. My coworker's does he just bring you snacks all the time? I'm not all the time, but yeah, it happens.
And yeah, it's snack time.
There's perks. Don't get me wrong. I don't have, because I work from home, I have no separation, and it is really interesting to be in my office working while my family's being a family. And so I think that's one thing that's interesting. And then just the fact that I don't feel like I get the recharge time like I used to. And then the other thing we found is, as this has gone on, because they're now getting so much time with Alan, whenever I am out, it's I feel like they're literally trying to crawl back into me in the crudest way I can say.
Anytime that Kelly walks out
They are clinging to.
For those watching this and watching this on YouTube, this is part of our living room, great room. I didn't know there was such a thing as a great room.
Great room.
Great room behind us. So if you go this way, that is a full separate owner's suite with bathroom and all that. And that's the office / where I do all the editing and fun stuff for this podcast and vlogs and all that. If you go that way, that is towards our room. Now, if Kelly needs to get something from the office to our room, she has to walk across the great room where we spend 90% of our time. And all of a sudden, my name becomes chopped liver. Tears start to fall out of the 1-year-old's eyes. The 4-year-old cannot wait to tell her about anything that's happening in her mind, about imaginary friends. Apparently, our daughter's imaginary friend is some grandchild, and her kitten, Kaylee. Now, her grandchild has no name, but we know her kitten's name is Kaylee.
True story. So, yeah, that's been interesting. And it's like... which is good because he really does need a break at 5 when I pop out of my office. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they are just, all about mommy.
All over you.
And so that's kind of been interesting. And then I think the final thing is that we kind of feel like our care team has gotten narrowed. We were, it used to be that daycare could be a piece of the puzzle. If one of us had a floating holiday, that could be, for me, it was a cleaning day. I loved using my floating holidays as a cleaning day because... when else are you going to do it? We would sometimes use holidays as a date day for us. We're using my mom now a lot more during the week, so I feel a little bit not as good about asking for help for her during the weekend. Don't get me wrong, we still do. But things like that. Yeah. But basically, our care team got narrowed, and so especially I think we felt it coming out of COVID because we really were fully isolated for
a while.
3+ months. So I think we maybe also... residual from there. But it has felt like just our world and our ability to kind of navigate as parents and kind of the community raising type of thing has just gotten a little bit more limited than it used to be. So that's, I guess, my complaints for the fact that it's a great situation for us.
Yeah, this whole time has been a giant lesson in I feel like there are monks that are laughing at like, oh, you guys are inside all day. Oh, I'm so sorry. Because monks, they live lives in a small, contained, sheltered environment. So I think there's monks that are probably going, oh, boo-hoo, you're inside, and I understand that point of view. And there's people that probably are with kids and without kids going like, what are you guys complaining about? But I think that when... especially me as an extrovert, like my fun was going out to a brewery or a pub or a coffee shop or somewhere to just sit. I would make random friends. I have my podcast, so I would be inviting people to record at, the brewery down the street or wherever to hang out. And so not only has like COVID, restricted all of that, but now being a stay-at-home dad, I'm feeling the confines of these walls all the more.
Yeah. If this were any other time, we would have probably annual passes to the zoo and the Botanic Garden and the Perot Museum and just all the local things. We
would be...
And he would probably be out 2 or 3 days a week.
I just
know you. You wouldn't be here that much.
I would probably have, 1 to 2 scheduled field trips with the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so him not being able to go out. And our Charlotte's also very extroverted. So
yes,
we have a lot of imaginary friends at this point, and we feel very, very bad for her socially. But
yeah, there's not much else. I mean,
that's kind of what all kids are going through right now,
I think so.
Presumably. So
yeah.
Anyway.
And I mean, it's not that we don't have a team of people outside of the house, but it's just we try to limit more.
Yeah. We're still being very cautious about contact. So.
Well, okay. And speaking of that, we only got about 2 minutes left here.
All right. What's next?
Okay. Here's the deal. We have a trip coming up. Talking about getting out of the house. We're going to go see my parents out in California. Mm-hmm. We're going to road trip it. So be on the lookout for that. If you have any tips for doing a road trip during a time of COVID, please let us know. Put the comments down below on any tips you have Please like and subscribe to this. If we can get to 100 subscribers, that'll help us get a custom URL. And if you're getting anything out of this channel, please let people know about it, share it. And then if we get a custom URL, after 100 subscribers, it helps you to share this a whole lot easier. And then helps me out just to have a little better branding around this. So, okay, that is about it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Love. Another whining about done.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cool.
Bye now.
Bye.